This was my good friend John Sampson. Big Samp, I used to call him. Him and his wife Tiffany, as well as their two children, Bella and Javier, would spend time with mine. Big Samp had a challenge. His weight was going to cut his life short, unless he did something about it. Unless he had a complete lifestyle change, he would continue on a dangerous path. His weight was nearly 400 pounds, and it affected his life in every way possible. His physical, mental, and emotional health was not positive. He made a lifestyle decision to change, and this is his story. He shared with me his motivation from some stories that were not pleasant to hear, let alone be the center of. His family members even commented on his weight.
I was raised by my grandmother, my mom, and my aunt, and they always told me every time they saw me, like, son, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight. And my aunt told me one day, this is the other thing that was kind of the wake-up call, she said, if you don't lose weight, when you go to Bella's class, and she's in junior high or middle school, the other kids are going to make fun of her because you're so fat.
John had another experience at an amusement park that he shared with me, a love for roller coasters that had to be ignored and the embarrassment that came with it.
And they literally can't get me in the ride. The guys are over there, like I've got one guy on one side, one guy on the other, and they're pushing on the thing to try to get it to close on my chest. And this is after waiting an hour and a half, right? So all the people are waiting, they're excited, everybody's having to wait, this is a big ordeal, and they're calling over the supervisor, and the supervisor's like, "Hi, sir, I'm sorry." They're trying to figure out how to tell me I can't ride it. So finally they say, sorry sir, it's not gonna close, you can't get on. So you have the shame walk, right? Like the walk of shame. You have to get off the ride in front of all these people that are waiting in line. And not only that, but now everybody in line's like, hold my purse. Will you hold my purse? Here, hold this. So now you're not only shamed out of getting out because you couldn't ride the ride, but you're having to hold everybody's purses and coats and bags. So you have to do the walk of shame with that. But yeah, so little things that just kind of, so those social pressures that, that you either say, I'm not going to go to Six Flags and I can't ride, you give up on it because you know you don't fit in the rides, or you do something about it.
A trip to a local doctor who deals in weight loss gave him an awakening he did not believe.
I started thinking about it seriously about 2 years ago, and went to the doctor, and he told me that I guess I weighed around 380, 400 pounds, and he said, if you stay at this weight for the rest of your life, essentially, and you don't lose weight, you can basically shave 10 years off your life.
After hearing the startling news, he decided to check into ways to help him lose weight. That included surgery. He had a few options.
So anyway, I went to Dr. Roller, and he does 3 different types of surgeries. One is a gastric bypass, one is the lap band, and one is called the sleeve. The gastric bypass has been around for 30 years, so that's what I decided to go with, plus that's what our insurance would cover at work. So it wouldn't cover the other 2 procedures. But essentially what it does is it takes your stomach, which is, they say, the size of your fist, and it turns it down to a much smaller stomach. And they bypass that stomach. It just goes into your lower intestine. So now when you intake food, you can only take in so much. And if you take in more than what's allowed, you basically, it comes back up.
After the surgery, he was in the hospital for 3 days. His recovery would not be easy. His diet would consist of strictly water and protein shakes over the next 3 weeks, and slowly into solid foods. Surgery was just one part of the equation. He had to have a lifestyle change. Diet and exercise had to be included in his new life. This is my friend John Sampson today. Since his surgery, his diet has changed considerably, and he tells us a little bit about what he can handle.
Well, drastic. I mean, smaller portions on everything, obviously. If there are solid foods, so if there's steak or hamburger or something that's heavy, I can eat a lot less of it. If it's a soup, a cereal, something that's a little bit more liquid form, I can eat a little bit more of it.
I asked him if it was the hardest change in his life that he has ever experienced, and also what his frame of mind is in continuing his progress.
Yeah, for me it has been, and I think that I've heard from people that do it and have success, wild success, and some folks that do it and struggle a little bit. So my goal was, if I'm going to do this, I mean, it's a pretty hefty surgery. I'm going to go all out and make sure that I do everything in my power to stay disciplined.
John also took up exercising. Working out in his living room and also running became daily events. He shared with me some of what his accomplishments have been during running and how he took it 1 block at a time.
And the first time I went out, I ran. It all started. I ran around the neighborhood, and I remember I would walk because he instructed us to walk at least a mile. Do as much as you can. And I thought one day, I feel pretty good. I'm going to try to jog to that truck. And so I jogged to the truck, and I hurt a little bit. But the next day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to jog a little bit past that truck. And then it was, I'm going to jog half a block, and then it was, I'm going to jog a full block. Then before you know it, I was like, I can do a full mile.
Since taking that first jog to the truck, he has upped his regimen to more than just a few blocks. His progress running has been exceptional, and he isn't just running down the street any longer.
Started off walking really slow, barely able to do a mile, and now I'm running consistently 3 to 4 times a week at minimum 3 miles a day, or 3 miles during the times that I go out and run. So, the progression has been that I ran my first 5K. I'm scheduling other races and just trying to stay actively, or trying to stay active and try to stay fit. I ran about 140 miles total since September 19th.
Just how much weight has he lost? What about his wardrobe? What size pants did he wear before? And what is he in now?
So, 380, right?
Yeah.
To where are you now?
About 245. I was wearing size 56 about 54, 56 pants.
And now where you're at now?
I'm actually wearing size 38 tonight.
So almost 20 inches.
Yeah, almost.
20 sizes.
Yeah, and I think that's the craziest thing, is that sometimes you don't see the weight come down as fast as you'd like to, but the change in clothes. I was wearing 3 and 4X size shirts, and this is I think it's a 2X, and it's already a little too big. So the next size is extra large, and then it's I don't know where it stops, but.
John goes on to explain how he sees this payoff in his daily life, not just on the scale, but with his family and with his overall positive feeling, both physical and mental.
The biggest thing for me is what I've realized is we had, Bella's practice, my daughter, and she had soccer practice, and we went out there one day, and she came up to me and said, "Tag, you're it." And I had just gotten off work. I was in my slacks and all this. So, and I start running around the field, and I was like, "Tag, you're it." And before you know it, we ran around the field for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, nonstop running around the field, my son, my daughter, and myself. And I didn't break a sweat. I wasn't tired. And I just thought, this is what it's about, man. But I think the weight has that impact on you. And losing weight, feeling better, I don't only feel better physically, I feel better mentally. I feel more confident. If I walk in just to a room for whatever purpose, I just feel better all around. It's kind of like your aura. I know that sounds cliche, but it is.
It takes a very strong person to look themselves in the mirror and accept they have a personal issue to challenge. It takes a determined and resilient person to actually act on it. I could not be more proud of my friend John. I am thankful that he has decided to make the effort to make sure he is around for his friends and family for as long as possible.